Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the FX Market Insight for Friday, the 8th of Feb. All right, now we're seeing a bit of a continuation of the slide, I guess, of the dollar. But once again, like I said yesterday, and it says on the MyFX Trading Hub, let me just bring that across. The main part of what's going on, it's actually not the US dollar, right? The major moves here are driven by the Euro, Aussie, and Kiwi. And up until yesterday, it was pretty much also included sterling, but Carney's put that aside as sterling starts to trade sideways. So just on the face of things, when you look at the currency pairs on the charts, you can see the movements here. We've got weak Aussie data in the market, neutral sort of US dollar, weak Kiwi, okay, neutral US dollar. We've got a weak Eurozone, whole backdrop, neutral US dollar. Now we've got the hobbity-gobbity of Brexit. And you can see here now how neutral that dollar is against dollar yen. Dollar yen, or the yen, is neutral. And you can see how the dollar is reacting there. Now, dollar CAD, well, look at that little dip back in oil. It was enough to support the move higher in dollar CAD. Now, we snaffled a bit of that, but left probably half of it on the table as it sort of stalled at the end of the Asian session. So what have we got to work with? Now, this is the same as yesterday. You've got a bit of a conundrum here because these currency pairs, I'd say Aussie, Kiwi, Euro in particular, and actually I guess dollar CAD for that matter, all have specific direction, but we've now, what you've lost control of is the entry levels. Now, I still have an entry here on Euro because we've got a trend line close by. We do have 113, the figure there, looking quite appealing as well. Now, dollar CAD, there's not much on dollar CAD except back towards 132. And we do have the employment data out of Canada today. So dollar CAD's going to be high on the radar for everyone. Dollar yen, I expect to continue to trade sideways. And Brexit, well, that's anyone's guess. But it's all about your entries. Can you get in? Well, dollar CAD, you're going to be able to get in, but it's going to be on the live data. And that's going to be pretty risky at the time of the release. So you're going to reassess that at the time. Euro has the option here because we do have technicals to potentially get into Euro. And I'll come back across to what I'm focusing on there. We've got some, it's quite weird or rare. We've got Italian industrial production numbers or output numbers. So that's going to be interesting for that. Aussie has started to trade sideways around 71, the figure, but we do have the RBA monetary policy statement today. Now, we had the interest rate decision and the statement following that. We had on Tuesday, Wednesday, we had the governor come out and flip that on its head. So let's go back and see what the monetary policy statement says today. It's going to be potentially, well, it could correct things. It could push it down further. So it's going to be very interesting. I would expect the Kiwi, the flightless bird, just to follow the Aussie at this stage. But it is a sell on rallies as well. This thing is heading lower. Okay, so let me just come across here to the dollar index page. And this sort of will explain a little bit about what I'm talking about with the dollar index. Now, the dollar index, 58%, okay, Euro, about 12 something percent is sterling. So close to 70% of those two pairs. Now, they're just dribbling off, or Euro was, and you had that sort of correction as sterling sort of corrected. But overall, the dollar index against the basket is going higher, especially on the daily charts as well. So, you know what? You can't fight the market. If you think the dollar's neutral because you read a lot of the news and it's, you know, not much going on the dollar, well, I can tell you there is, and it's because the other currencies are going down. Excuse me. So just have a look at the equity markets here. Pretty neutral once again. So, the equity markets are waiting for something out of the Fed or some economic numbers out of the US. And we've been missing those since the start of the year. Also, that US-China trade issue is going to drag on. I'll show you some news in a second. There's not going to be any talks before they meet, which is one of those oddballs. The dollar yuan, the offshore yuan, okay, the dollar slowly strengthening there, sort of almost following the dollar index. But once again, with nothing out of China, it's pretty hard to follow what's going on there. Now, I'll just flip you over to the news, see what's headlining at the moment. Dollar gains as Eurozone growth forecast cut. We've been saying that for about 2 weeks. So they're finally sort of caught on to that. The Eurozone, I think there's still a chance of a spike high, like a correction high before it comes off. But it does look like it's just going to keep dribbling lower towards 110. No talks between Trump and China. Okay, so that's going to be, everyone on the equity markets will be sitting tight on that one. And And then, see, look at the stories they're writing up here. So no talks, but fear. Okay, it's all about fear. They love just putting fear into the market. And that's what they've been doing with Brexit for the last sort of 2 years. CAD 2-week low as all drops. Yeah, that's pretty standard stuff. So basically, once again, they're clutching at straws. Without the fundamental data, right, the news, we haven't, the news services and traders don't have a lot to go by. All right, so that's why everything's a little bit like subtle at the moment. But just coming back to the MyFX Trading Hub, we do have pretty good trading conditions at the moment. Okay, there's no hectic geopolitical issues outside of Brexit that is kicking the heads in of the market. So that's a really good thing. And then when you sort of scroll down here just a touch, now there's still pretty good direction across the board here. Now, what I'm talking about is, okay, so we've got weak Euro, Aussie, and Kiwi. So they're still going lower because of domestic economics. The US dollar is going up just because they're weak. Now, one big change from yesterday is, to me, dollar yen and sterling, well, dollar yen's naturally trading sideways. Sterling's back into the range. You know, Carney's offset some of the Brexit talk. So to me, sterling could go anywhere, and that's why I've got it sideways. And the two other pairs there, the dollar CAD and dollar Swiss, they continue on their merry way to the top side. All right. So once you've got the direction mapped out, right, this is where you start to connect the dots and go, okay, we've got some pairs here with direction. That's where you match them up. CAD employment numbers. Now, dollar CAD is going to the top side, moving to the top side at the moment. We get weak employment numbers out of Canada, it's going to shoot to the top side. That's where all the momentum is. That's the sentiment. Weak numbers is your best trade. If we get strong Canadian employment numbers, well, then it's going to drift lower, but it's drifting into the strong dollar. So I don't see it as a really good natural trade. Now, it's a bit of a rare one. As I said, industrial production numbers. Italy's been a bit of a raw nerve. Just keep an eye on this. The Italian news has dropped off ever since they technically went into a recession about a week or so ago. But that will be something to watch for Euro. All we're looking for Euro is anything to give it a push on the downside is a good thing. And that's a good chance to get short, potentially even down through 113 the figure if this data is weak. Now, the Asian session, okay, we're going to be focused. I've sort of done this in backwards. But the Asian session, the RBA monetary policy statement, once again, will be another feature of the Aussie this week. It's been a high-profile pair to trade. All the Aussie crosses have been crunched. You know, as I said, we've had the statement, which was pretty, you know, if anything, slightly positive. We've had the governor come out, talk a little bit negative. So we want to see what happens here with this monetary policy statement. Now, you can trade. You have to be flat Aussie before this, but you can trade it as soon as it comes out. And that's pretty much it. So the week stops here. Okay, that's next week. So to me, the really clear opportunity is, or the robust number is going to be the employment numbers. Now, we don't exactly have clear technical entry levels, so it's going to be a bit loose. Keep an eye on the Aussie today as well. That could really fly around. So they're your opportunities. We've got the major pair outlook. Things are looking pretty good. All right, now don't forget, traders, we've got the 247 trade zone honking along here. Not only will you get updates and various trade talk and various trade issues, as the market kicks in, a lot of traders have been saying, well, where's all the next best trades? Well, they are in here, and they sort of kicked in yesterday with a number of trades. Dollar CAD was on the money. Euro, we haven't managed to get short. Kiwi, well, that was... Well, I haven't got short on that order, but if you come back through and have a look here, you'll see on the virtual trading floor where some of our other traders are kicking some goals here on their trade setups as well. Okay, so make sure you check that out. All right, guys, that's it from me. It's have a good weekend. If I don't speak to you today, don't forget the CAD employment numbers, probably the biggest, hairiest number this week. It will definitely get the CAD rolling, especially if it's weak. To me, that's the best trading opportunity. All right, guys, have a good one. We'll see you later on. Cheerio.